Welcome to the full button tutorial of the 2025 Toyota Crown Signia XLE. In this tutorial, we're going to cover all the buttons at the driver's reach. Typically, I like to go from left to right. Let's begin. So before we dive deep, two things. One, I have a video on the 12.3-inch Speedo cluster. We will dive into this a little bit because it's a little bit unique in its own way, but it's going to share 90% of the DNA with what's in that video. And for keeping this concise, do check out the link to that below. And two, the software where we dive deep with this, I also have a separate video. These cars are getting so advanced, instead of it being an hour-long tutorial, I like to do a buttons video and then different videos for the screens because there's tons of technology. All right, let's begin. Starting on the door, typically we would go with the window switches, but if we look above them, we have the seat memory switches. So for the seat memory, all you have to do is push set and then the seat that you want to set that setting to. And then every time you push that button, it'll go back to that original setting. Down here, we have the window switches. They're auto one touch down and up all around. And then we have the door lock button. Typical of Toyota, there's two little bumps on the lock button so you can just feel for it. Then a window lock button with a green LED so passengers can't open up their windows. Then we have the features and functions for the side mirrors. So by pushing this down, it'll fold the mirrors on the fly. The center position is A for auto, so they'll fold when you turn the car off. And then the front position means they stay open all the time, or outward. Then we have this side mirror adjustment for the actual mirror. So if I turn this to the L position, I can toggle it like a video game. Here's the neutral position, so if I hit this, it doesn't do any adjustments. And then I have the right one here. So once you adjust both mirrors, you want to put it in the middle selection so you don't accidentally adjust the mirrors when you're touching that. On the seat, like most Toyotas, the first button on the left is the lumbar support, which is forward and back. Then I have the recliner for my upper back. Then I have forward and back here with an up and down motion or a twist, so I can really get that unique setting for this. The floor mats have two locks. If you're not familiar with Toyota, you can see the arrows line up when it is locked. To unlock it, you turn a quarter turn and the floor mat will come off. You just want to make sure you do a little bit of a push and turn to lock it back in place. That way they don't slide under your brake pedal. Working our way up the dash, down below over here we have the lever for the hood release. And up above we have the electronic hatchback, which is height adjustable, and the door release for the fuel door. Working our way over to the side, we can pull this lever down and telescope or raise and lower the steering wheel and lock it back into place. And above those, we have the adjustments for the brightness of the speedometer and interior buttons and the odometer and trip. By pushing this, it'll cycle through A, B, and odometer. Push and hold to clear a trip, and this just does the brightness. That's a little speedometer with a light bulb. Going even higher up the dash, there are some additional buttons here. So the auto high beams turns on and functions like that when the lights are in auto. I also have the headlight washers. So there's a jet that will shoot some washer fluid onto the headlights when you push that. I have the defrosting wiper blades, which is simply powered by some defrosting lines in the bottom of the windshield, and the headlight adjustment on the fly. So if I put some heavy cargo in the back, I can put the headlights down or upward depending on how well I need to see, given the cargo I'm carrying. The two side vents closest to the doors have a little wheel here where I can turn the air down and off, or I can go about a third way, half or full, and I can control how much airflow I get, in addition to the dual zone climate control. For the steering wheel, I like to start with the stalks. So the stalk on the left will operate the lights. So in the bottom position, signified by this little notch, daytime running lights are off. The next position is auto. So this is going to give you daytime running lights and then kick on all the other lights when it gets dark. Here's our parking lights, which is going to give me dim front lights, tail lights on, and all buttons lit up, but no headlights. And this is going to be all lights on all the time. For the stalk on the right, this operates the wipers, and this is going to operate the way it does in all Toyotas. There are 4 different positions for clicking this downward. We're in the first position, which is off. If I click it down once, it goes to intermittent, which I can change the intermittency level of how often the wipers go, depending on if it's raining lightly or misting out. Then I have the low constant and high constant positions. This section here is going to power the rear wiper only. So it's in the off position now. If I click this forward, it'll do intermittent, which does not move with this, to my understanding. And if I move it forward another notch, it'll go to on constant. Onto the steering wheel itself, there are no buttons in the back. All the buttons are in the front. So starting with the left, we have the OK and back button, which are going to operate the MID screens. Then we have the selector arrows, side to side and up and down. Those are only going to power the Speedo cluster / MID. So those will not operate the infotainment system. Then I can answer calls and hang up calls with this button over here. Then down below, I now have a toggler up and down for the volume instead of a side to side or up and down. Very nice. And a button for the voice commands. Now, if I push this button once, it'll initiate Toyota's software system. But if I were to push and hold when connected with the smartphone, it'll operate the assistant that the phone comes with, whether it be Siri or Google Assistant. On to the right side of the steering wheel, we have more of the automated features with cruise control for the Toyota Safety Sense 3.0. Starting with the top, this is going to turn on the cruise control, and then I can change the mode with this button over here. So we have two cruise control systems. We have the dynamic radar cruise control and the constant speed / old school cruise control. Once I put it into cruise control, I can change the sensitivity or following distance with this button, and this will operate my lane trace assist over here and lane exit assist. Now, do check out the quick reference guide if you own the vehicle, because this little button on the screen is going to change colors depending on when the lane is safe to exit and what it dictates that you're doing. I can increase or decrease speed on the cruise control here. I can cancel it right over there. This will resume it. And down below, I have the seek and track for the songs when I'm listening to music, and the mode button will go through AM, FM, Bluetooth, Sirius radio, or if I push and hold, it will mute and pause the music. For the 12.3-inch display here, this is the traditional 12.3-inch Speedo cluster / MID display you'll see on most Toyotas going out that have this size of a screen. So there is a separate video linked down below I want you to check out. We're going to touch lightly on it. We have the outside temp on the top over here, the time on the right. We also have our coolant temperature. We have our fuel level on the bottom. Our range is on the bottom right. Of course, we have the tachometer-esque gauge here, which we can change in the settings, and we have the speed analog and speed digital over here. P for park, that'll also tell me if I'm in reverse. Some of these will show the map over here, some of them won't, just depends if it comes standard with the in-house navigation. When I use the side-to-side arrows on the steering wheel, it's going to change what these MIDs show. So there's tons of information. Now if I hold OK, I can go down to my settings and have my driver support, the map, and I can change what my center screen shows as well. Now remember, there is a separate video, so we're going to touch lightly. When I go to settings, this is going to change all the settings to my safety sense systems. This is included in that video, but just real quick, we got the lane departure alert, blind spot monitor, pre-collision system. These are all standard on Toyota Safety Sense. Proactive driving assist is going to give you some deceleration and steering input while you're driving. The rear cross traffic alert will beep 4 times fast when you are approaching something that's moving, like cars driving perpendicular to you. Safe exit assist uses the blind spot monitor to let you know if it thinks a car is going to hit you when you're opening your door. Road sign assist is going to read road signs like stop signs and speed limit signs while you're driving. Then we have some vehicle settings over here. Tons of stuff. I want you to check out that video. For meter settings, I just want to show you how cool this is. I can go to meter style, and I can change the way these meters look. Really cool. But I'm going to put it back to factory for you. So yes, do check that out. I can change what each of these MIDs show, like I mentioned. These little circles will move over and you can change the information. So check that out. Let's move on to buttons by the shifter. For buttons by the shifter, the first place I want to start is the shifter itself. So this is a new shifter to most people, but if you've been driving a Prius for a while, this is going to be very familiar to you. So this shifter is a move and release shifter. So there's a little diagram over here. To drive, I go over, down, and release. To go to reverse, I go over, up, and release. So here's drive, over and down and release. I can tell I'm in drive because it says D right below my digital speed. For neutral, I just go over. Remember, you got to push the brake. For this, it actually makes us hold it. See, then it lights up in green. So we're still color coordinated. There's the blue for drive. And then for sequential shift, I go to drive and then down, and I can use the paddle shifters here to go through the simulated gears. Pretty cool to control the revs. And for park, I push P like that. Now, say I was in one of these gears and I turned off the vehicle, it'll automatically go into park for you. Not a habit I recommend. You might want to just get in the habit of pushing the park button. Very easy to use, very easy on the hands. There's different drive modes here, so this little lever goes up and down. You can do that while driving. So I have up and down. I'm going to show you on the screen here. So there's eco mode when I put it down. If I toggle it forward, I go to normal, sport, and custom. Over here I can turn off the traction control / vehicle stability control. And then I have the parking brake lever here. Now remember, the car is going to automatically put you into park, so they removed the little red light because you can see down below on the bottom right side there where it says park. When I take it out of drive, the parking brake releases, but when I put it back into park, you'll see that parking brake re-engages on its own. They really want you looking up at the screen, but you have the option in case you're working on the vehicle's braking system and you need to manually disengage it. For EV mode, I can turn it into EV mode when the battery is charged over 70%. It won't let me do it unless. And the brake hold feature allows me to come to a stop and take my foot off the brake, and it'll hold the brake for me. So sorry for the lighting with this gray interior, but these are all the buttons over here by the shifter. Of course, over here we have some additional charging. The wireless charging over here, and inside the center console, some additional charging. Let's move on to the AC system. For the HVAC system on the 2025 Toyota Crown Signia, it is like we've seen in other Toyotas. It's operated by levers on the bottom and buttons on the top. So from left to right, we have the heated seats, 3 different levels here. Ventilated seats, 3 different levels here. I'm going to keep it unventilated. We have the auto function, which will change all of this stuff to match what you're trying to do. Then we have the front and rear defrost with defrosting side mirrors, the off button, and then you can toggle the temperature of the car like this. If the passenger wants their own temperature, they can change it, or you can synchronize it with the sync button. And you can change the fan speed right here. There's also pop-up displays on the screen and the air direction. But when I push auto, it's going to modulate all of this stuff for me. But so we're not blasting with air, I'm just going to put it on this. On the right, we also have recirculate and AC, which you're going to want for the hot days, the heated and ventilated seat for the passenger, and the cancellation button for the rear vents, in case the rear passengers do not want any air. Above the AC system is the hazards, and one button I forgot, the heated steering wheel is now a part of the HVAC system, so you have auto, high, and low, not just on and off like it used to be. Of course, to the right of the HVAC system is the power button. Check out my video for Crash Course Hybrids if you've never driven a hybrid before, because you might not hear the engine when you start the car up. What you need to do when you start a hybrid is look for that ready symbol right over there. That's how you know the car is on. Working our way up, we'll finish up with the screen afterwards. We have the rear view mirror with Garage Link. It is not a digital rear view mirror. And then overhead we have the pull down lever that's blocking the SOS button for the Toyota Safety Connect. That comes with the car for 10 years or until the 4G network goes away. The individual LED lights for the interior. We can choose if the lights come on with the door or not, and this turns on all the lights front and back. For the sun visor, we also get a matching LED here, and it'll slide side to side instead of having the little wing that pops out when the sun is in that weird spot. Wrapping up with the screen. So remember I mentioned there is a separate video on the screen that I have linked down below, but to give you just a quick little peek, it's very quick reacting. This is the new software. When you connect wirelessly, it's going to have your CarPlay or Android Auto toolbar here as well. But we have lots of different settings here, so you can link up different devices. You can do some general settings. You can turn off the beep. You can change your date and time right over here. You can even change the way the display looks. What people really like is the energy flow diagram, so you can see what the hybrid system is doing. Really neat. So check out the attached video for that. I can't play any music for you due to copyright. So there we have it. This is the 2025 Toyota Crown XLE. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. I was trying to keep this as concise as possible. If there's something I missed, let me know down below. And please consider subscribing. It makes such a huge difference for the channel and helping other people find these Toyota videos. If there's anything you want to cover in a little more depth, you know you can catch me down in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you to my subscribers for your support. Love you guys. I'll see you in the next video. Brian signing out. Peace.